So my experience with teaching students about acid, bases, ice charts, and pH is that they start out really strong and they remember all of the pieces of information, but they don't realize that they're going to a deeper level in about 2 weeks. And so I like to mention it on the front end so you know where you are headed. You've already learned about strong acids and strong bases. That was on the last test. And you learned to get the pH of something. You just take the negative log of it. So you already learned about that and you're good at that. And then you also learned about how to do ice charts. And here's the format. You put in your initials, 0 on those, minus x plus x, and you get an answer. And then you can solve for what is x. So you've already done that. Or if you have x, you can go back and solve for, what is k. So you can kind of move that around. And that's not new either. You did that on the last test. Now, what we've done, though, in this section right here is that we added on the little step where you get the x and then you put it into the pH equation and you solve for pH. Now, that's only for this week. So this is one scenario for how to work an ice chart in a specific type of situation for weak acid or weak base. The next week in part 1, we're going to move into how to work with soluble salts. And soluble salts have the same kind of a format where they have an ice chart. They have the same kind of a format where you have a K value, you fill it in, and you get an X value, and again, you solve for the pH. But they have an extra step, and you have to be able to write the reaction carefully. This step here, where you do some extra math and then write in the reaction, that can be a little tricky. But this is how you solve an ice chart if you have a soluble salt and you want to know the pH. So again, this week, weak acid, figuring out pH. Next week, soluble salt, pH. Then we're going to move into mixtures of weak acids and their salts. And you're going to find out a shortcut to help you bypass some of this math that only works in this mixture situation. So that's your third scenario for the second part of next week. All right, so now here's the deal, is that the week following, what you're going to do is we're going to move into reactions. And what you need to be able to do is figure out if the results of the reaction matches scenario, this was a 3, matches this situation, this situation, this situation, or this situation. And we'll show you how to recognize it, but I just want to let you know, in the week after next, you need to be able to use each of these methods when you're calculating for these 3 different kinds of reactions. So that's where we're going, and we're headed into a bigger picture. But this week, it'll be nice and straightforward where you're just reminding yourself what are ice charts, and then you're throwing in a little bit about pH.